Welcome to today's training. For this particular cap, turban, I'll be needing 3 separate parts. The first part I will use for the pleat, that's the measurement. I have 27 as the length, and then the width is 9. That's the wideness is 9. So I will be needing 2 of it separately, and then I need the part that will be for the turban. So that one measured I think 24 and a half by 15. That's the cap part, you understand. The first part I measured is for the first part I measured is for the pleat part. I will make 2 different pleats, cross it together, then I will use the cap part to sew on top of it before I will turn it. So that's why I say I need 3 different parts. Then this is the part that I will use on top to create the ruffles, and then also the pleated one side. One side is pleated. This is the part I will use, and then the width for this, that is the wideness, is about I think 21, okay, 22, and then the length is above 60, but I will not use up to 60. I will not use up to 60, but we can just say 60, but definitely I'm not going to use up to 60. This is just the length of the material, you understand. So but I'm not going to use up to 60. It's far above 60. The actual length I will be needing should just be let's say 55 is okay. But if you are working with it and it is excess, there's no problem. You can cut it off. Because by the time you are already working, you will know the exact length. But to be on the safe side, you can work with 60 for the length for the one you will use on top, and then like I've given the measurement for the turban part and then the part of the pleat. So after that, now the next thing I will do is that I will just go ahead and pleat the 2 different fronts, the 2 different ones that I'm going to cross. So I will pleat it, and like I always explain, when I want to make a pleat, I first of all fold about 1.5 inch in, you understand, or 2, then run it. That will form the basis for the rest pleat. So this is the width, 9. I've said it before, 9. So I'll just create 3 pleats each, 3 pleats for each one. 3 pleats is really very simple. As much as possible, I want everyone learning here to be able to do something with it. That's my target. I want somebody learning here without going to any shop, one-on-one training. Just through this training, you will be able to do your work if you are ready. Seriously, that's why I always want to give my best when I'm doing the explanation. So you fold in about 2 inches or 1.5 inches is enough. Then you turn it, after which you continue to make your fold. Like I said before, my pleat is just going to be about 3 pleats. I'll make 3 for this one, because I'm making 2 of it. I'll make 3 for this one. I'll make 3 for the other one. That's just because I want to cross the front. And like I said before, the length is about either 25, between 25 to 27, but you don't need that much. If you have let's say 16, sometimes I use 16 so that you can cross properly, you understand. So if you have 16, is okay. I'm not just mindful of the material I'm using today, so that's why you see that I have so much excess, but just work with 16 is okay. So after crossing it, you can see that this is the target, crossing it. So this is how we just cross, lay the first one, then use the second one to go on top of it. And the part with me now is the cap part, the part that is going to be the cap. So I will just lay it on top of it, and then quickly I will use my needle, I'll quickly use my pin and then pin it down. You can see that the ones behind now, I'm not doing anything to it. I'm not doing anything to the ones behind. So you see how I pin. You see the pinning. So those ones that you can see behind, they are just excess, and I will cut them off. So after sewing it, this is what you will have. I have not sewn. No, I only pin it down. So this is what you will have after sewing it. You can see the crossing part is there, and you can see that it was the front of the turban I turned to pin. So by the time you flip it over, you will not get the front showing in front. So this part now, I've finished sewing it now. This part now, I'll use my zigzag scissors so that it will add a little style to it. It will not just be rough. If you can weave it, it's okay, but it's too thick to go through the weaving machine. So I use zigzag scissors, to cut it off. I just decide to use this zigzag scissors. Is something you must have if you are producing turban. So please, if you don't have it, try and get it. It's very nice. It's very good. It's very good for your finishing. So after sewing it, this is what I will get. Are you seeing it? You see it's neat, it's beautiful, and you can see the crossing. So you just get the middle and then flip it over so that you can now sew the turban close. When you flip it over, you take your measurement. You know the head measurement is usually 22. So you work with 10 or 10 and a half. I don't really like working with exact 22 because sometimes it becomes too free. So I normally work with 10 or 10 and a half. So because of the pleat, this one will be a little bit thick. So if you work with 10, it might want to be too tight. So I advise you work with 10 and a half. So the next thing is, after sewing it, you can see how I have sewn and how I curve it to the end part. Again, I'm going to use the zigzag scissors to do my finishing. If you can weave. This part will not be too thick for your weaving machine. When I say weaving machine, I mean the interlock machine. So let me just slip it over for you to see. So this is what we get. The cap is ready. So the next thing we'll do is to prepare the top. I will just simply put the cap on top of my dummy head, and then from there I'll start preparing the top. And to do that, I'll start by gathering the material together and then pleat it so that it will be neat. So, and then I'll use my needle and thread and hold the part that I've pleated. While I put it on my leg, start ranging and then use my needle and thread and tack it to the cap. When I get to the length, because I'm not going to pleat all through on the cap, I'll get to a part, I will stop, and then I'll start to do the ruffles. But one very important thing is that as I'm doing the ruffles now, before I will do the ruffles, I'll sew the material. So you can see I have pleated and I have sewn it. I got to the part where the cross is, and then I stopped there. So I now go back to my machine and then sew the mouth, that is the edges, together. So right now I have a sewn material space inside it, you understand. So with the fact that I have sewn it together now, I'll be able to open it and it will just be forming these ruffles for me. I think by now I have up to I don't know if this should be like the 4th video I have on ruffles, and every one of these videos you are seeing have different method of making them. I'll come up with ruffles with I'll come up with ruffles that I make out of ashoke. I'll come up with that because some persons are already asking for the ashoke tutorials. I'll come up with that. I'm very sorry for the delay. I'm going to come up with that. I'll come up with that. Just I have something I'm doing that is making me so busy, but I'll try and come up with the ashoke ruffles as soon as possible, is a promise. So this is another pattern of making my ruffles. When I gather the part I want to gather, and then I will go back to my machine, like I said before, to sew it that I sew the edges together so it will form like a balloon for me, you understand. Then I will start pushing it up, just open. I don't have much work to do, so you can see me as I'm fixing it. When I open it and raise it up, I create the height that I want, after which I will use my needle and thread to tack it to the base from the back side. I'll come to the front again and also tack it down. That part, yes, I'll tack it down. This particular process you see me doing for this first one now. This is the first ruffles that I've created. This method or this process is going to repeat itself until I am done with the whole ruffles. I'm laying emphasis on it because I might not be showing or repeating it again, so that the video will not waste too much of your time, you understand. So you can see I'm about to start the second ruffles, and the first thing I did was to pick a part of it, tack it to the base of the turban, like you are seeing me doing now. After which I will now create the height I want for the ruffles, and then when I get behind it, I will tack it down again. I hope you are following, because I explained before in one of my tutorials that ruffles, they are different. You make it in different ways, just like your child will go to school and scribble. When they scribble, some will be beautiful, some will not be beautiful. So ruffles is just like scribbling of material. It's the only thing that gives beauty to your work is that you have a set target as to how you want it to look. You understand? You have a shape that you wish to achieve as you are doing it. If not, it's just like a child going to school learning how to write and it's just scribbling. So when you scribble, some is beautiful and some are not. So ruffles is the same thing with scribbling. We are just scribbling with our materials. That's just it. Do anything you like with it. The only thing is, let the end result be fine. That's just it. Let the end result be beautiful. So this is just it. You can see me, I'm creating the second ruffles now, and when I'm done, like I said, with one part, I'll get to the end again and tack it down. You understand? And the fact that the material is already sewn, the edge of the material is sewn together, makes it very easy. I hope you enjoy the class. This is very, very simple. I always entertain your questions. Please, if you are asking questions, let it be based on what I am teaching. I find it very easy to reply you when you are asking questions based on what I am explaining. So you see, I'm opening it now, and then I'll just keep creating the ruffles until I get to the very, very last part of it. Until I get to the very, very last part of it, then I'll conclude it, I'll tack it down, and that will be all. And then if you like, you can attach stones to your ruffles. Stones. Yes, now it's stones, we call it, or pears. Like there are this kind of designs now, like stone. It's stones, I call it, or pears. Those beads stuff, and there are other ones that are not beads, but they are so beautiful to use. So that will be all for today. I do hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you love it, give it a thumbs up, and if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe. Thank you. So this is the finishing of it. I do hope you love it, and I hope it is going to be helpful. I hope it will help your business. Have a nice day. For me, it is bye for now. So this is all. Okay, yes, you will pin every part down. I explained it before. So that's all. Bye. Bye.